This is not the church of Joseph Smith.
Alright, Travis Wingoodsell. As I have been telling you previously, the church lawyers finally responded to my lawsuit, and all hell's breaking loose because they were late, and they have no excuse for being late. But I was talking today about, I think it was the last video I did, about how if they are good lawyers, they would be investigating me, doing all sorts of research, and having to do with finding holes in my lawsuit so that they can try to mount a defense. They don't have one because the main crime in my lawsuit is that the church ordered my disappearance and they paid the person that disappeared me. Case closed. So if they're going to be fooling around with the other issues about my talking about the Book of Mormon being encoded, but that was not in the counts. That was in the not the notice, but the whatever the reasoning for the case. I can't remember the title for it. But so I'm expecting to be spied on during this time, if I hadn't been already. And so today, I get a person who's calling himself Mormon Bear, and it's a black and white photo circle thumbnail of a little girl kissing an older man on the cheek, and so you automatically assume a daddy and daughter thing. Regardless, the video that he initiated contact with was LDS Return to Independence, Missouri reboot. It was a year later, year and several months later, that I did this, because by that time the original video I did needed an update. And so I thought, hey, excellent opportunity. That's my biggest video, and it still is to this day. This one, however, is 173 views compared to plus 20,000 with the other one. And so this channel was my old channel. YouTube sabotaged it because of a Mormon, and instead of following their own policy, YouTube is refusing to allow me back in to manage my account. If you've ever had to deal with YouTube giving you grief, you'll understand why. But there are certain policies they have that they refuse to follow in my case. So I can't access this channel ever again to manage it. I can delete people's comments, report them as spam or abuse, but I can't manage the videos. And so I can't change them all to hide the comments, stuff like that. I have to deal with it. But for the most part, this is old. I'm not supposed to be getting anything because it's old. And yet, for some reason, I'm getting more attention this year. And so, I had dealings with another guy. It's got I guess he's up top, and the other guy. I had left off with another guy that I noticed earlier today. And that was way back when. He had tried to bully me and abuse me on the channel, and back then, on this channel, or on that channel, I would go toe-to-toe with these guys, and had successfully chased everybody away with debate. And in this particular case, I'm curious about this guy's appearance. First of all, having the lawyers just submitted their motion to dismiss on my case, as they do on all cases, which means they're in blatant defiance of my own lawsuit, because I deal with that right from the beginning. So we'll see whenever I get it in the mail, if I get it in the mail. There are some things in my lawsuit that this guy is searching for, which makes me wonder about who he is and what his motives are. He says, "Hey there, can you please help me understand?" Oh, he used the word help. Oh, good. So he's got an innocent motive, doesn't he? The specific dates of the return of the Saints to Missouri. I watched your video, your other video, and I must have missed the date specified. So he didn't watch this one, he watched the other one, and he didn't catch any dates as I showed them on the screen. And so, yes, my response was as such. That's one more. There we are. And so here's my initial response. As you clearly are a Mormon, obedient to your baptismal covenant, and again it shall come to pass that on as many as ye shall baptize with water, ye shall lay your hands, and they shall receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, and shall be looking forth for the signs of my coming, and shall know me. Doctrine and Covenants, section 39, verse 23. And for some reason that's a link. I don't know what link that's supposed to go to, and I'm not going to click on it. Don't click on it, whatever you do, if you go to try to click on it. Of course, no, everybody's going to click on it. But notice that LDS Return to Independence Missouri reboot, and that's what my original one was about, was the date for the return to Independence Missouri. And so here he says, I was looking for the date, I listened to the video, can't find the date, here I am on the reboot rather than the original video, commenting. And so I continue. I'm sure you are sincere and genuine in your question. See, I used sincere and genuine, like he used help. And so I linked him to some of my videos that I have playlists regarding the topic matter. And I'm sure you're smart enough to know that this video, a reboot, is not my only video, and from the links you have to YouTube channels of mine. I got a sneeze coming. Boy there. You have 2 YouTube channels of mine to search through playlists of videos for you to search through to answer your sincere, heartfelt questions of a fellow Mormon. With the virus, I'm sure you have plenty of time to spend watching my videos. And apparently he didn't want to spend time watching my videos, because he responded, I'm very curious about your journey. Oh, is he? My journey. Now it has nothing to do with the date. Now he's wanting to know about my journey. So you see why I'm suspicious. It seems from the first video I watched of yours, from summer 2017, you were still very much in the church. Then, in later videos, it appears you have renounced the veracity, big words for Mormon Bear here, of any of the presidents of the church, starting with Brigham Young. Presidents of the church. And again, he's on my old channel. I gave him links to my current channel here, the new one. So you see why I'm getting suspicious. There are just certain things that if he were genuinely sincere in wanting to ask and doing the necessary research as a person who's genuinely interested, he would have done so. Because I have playlists. I link to the playlists. I'll get into that in a minute here. Let's see, I have questions of... Why is this cutting off? I have questions of my own, many of which I haven't been able to settle. Oh, I get to help him. He's doing the tactic that men are supposed to do for women, and then or women are supposed to do for men. I think that's what it is. That women are supposed to say, oh, I could sure use a man's help with this. Wink, wink, wink. Then the guy goes, oh, okay, I'll save the day. I'm the knight in shining armor. So he's trying to pull this tactic on me. And I'm assuming it's a guy because he's got the little girl kissing daddy on the cheek thing. But if this is a fraudulent account with a fraudulent claim here, it could just as well be a woman asking these questions. Because aren't we getting into feelings and emotion stuff? Let me go back to the beginning here. Can you help me? Guys don't ask for help. So that's one clue that this is female. Must have missed. Okay. Not sure of any other distinctive female words used in that one. And then, very curious about your journey. That's female. But, however, a bear is well understood in the LGBTQ community as being homosexual, a specific homosexual. So maybe, again, we're looking for clues from the manner of speech here. It seems, so an appearance thing here, that's typically guys who would say seems, rather than I feel from your first video, which would be more women inclined. I watched of yours, so again, men are more sight oriented in their comments. You were still very much in the church. In later videos, it appears you renounced the veracity of the presidents of the church. I have questions of my own, many of which I haven't been able to settle. I'm just wondering as to how you came to your decision to eventually reject the church. And so, no extra stuff in that one either. So, I'll keep reading to see if I can identify the sex of the writer here. But I did catch that they switched from wanting to know the date to, I noticed you were in the church, now I'm reject the church. So that's an interesting conclusion, as they claim they've been watching videos, even though I put up my video links to the new video channel. And so apparently they're lying to me. They're deceiving me here, because I have the dates, and they said they couldn't find the dates. And now they're saying, oh, well, I want to know your journey now. So yeah, this is a con that's going on here. And so then I comment, I finally got around to researching church history, so I'm playing along. As I'd spent my life deciphering Paleo-Hebrew, demonstrating Joseph Smith's King Follett sermon was correct, then deciphering Egyptian petroglyphs, again demonstrating Joseph Smith's Book of Abraham was correct, and then discovering that the Bible narratives all derive from ancient Egyptian stories, and the levels of translation from the petroglyphs again confirming what Joseph Smith was informing us in the Book of Mormon, with the brass plates being the fulfillment of Ezekiel 37. And having confirmed Joseph Smith's translation work as legitimate, the current church blacklisted me, had me disappeared for 6 years, and have been attempting to murder me. I didn't turn on the church, they turned on me, and I'm merely holding them accountable. Holding them accountable? See how I threw that in there? I merely use the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith as the standard for judging Brigham to Nelson, for which all of the Brighamite successors have failed their judgment, which explains why there is no Zion to rescue the world during coronavirus and protect from the upcoming warfare as mankind fights for food and survival. That's the short of it. From all my vlogs, also in specific playlists, and Amazon publications. My website is no longer operational as the website company sabotaged it. I suspected for some decade, but needed confirmation. ... See how I'm doing this? Wise as a serpent, yet innocent as a lamb. And I not only got it, but also far more than I expected of. Far more than I expected of a far darker and insidious nature. For example, you know of Nelson's new symbol for the church, ? Jesus on top of the church as the cornerstone? Who's the cornerstone of the church? ? Now read Doctrine and Covenants 1:16, and again apparently that's a link, which in verses 14 and 15 is talking to future Mormons, as they are the only ones to fit the accusations. They seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness. Mormons seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness, but every Mormon walketh in his own way, and after the image of his own God, whose image is in the likeness of the world, and whose substance is that of an idol, which waxeth old and shall perish in Babylon. Even Babylon the Great, which shall fall? You mean that Babylon of Ur, where the Jews were taken captive to back in 600 BC-ish? Nope. Did you know that before the 1981 version of the triple, the DNC was encoded? I put that in my lawsuit, in the initial narrative as to why I'm doing the case. And so I've already identified this person as a fraud. And so now I'm putting out a little fish for them to see if they bite. The church service missionaries with Bruce R. missed decoding Babylon in this particular passage. And guess what? Question mark. The Book of Mormon was never decoded. Recall the prophecy of Joseph Smith's about the elders saving the Constitution? Question mark. Oops! Exclamation point. Mormons allowed the kingmen to install Jacob on the throne of America. Now the secret combination, which had brought so great inequality upon the people, did gather themselves together, and did place at their head a man whom they did call Jacob. And they did call him their king. Therefore he became a king over this wicked band, and he was one of the chiefest who had given his voice against the prophets who testified of Jesus. And it came to pass that they were not so strong in number as the tribes of the people, who were united together, save it were their leaders did establish their laws, every one according to his tribe. Nevertheless they were enemies, notwithstanding they were not a righteous people. Yet they were united in the hatred of those who had entered into a covenant to destroy the government. And there's much, much more, I said. And then I got 3 different responses. The first, man, that's wild. I'm confused as to why the church would turn on you because you proved Joseph Smith correct in his translations. Wouldn't that be something they want? You'd think so, wouldn't it? Are you saying this is the second one, are you saying that the presidents of the church after Smith prevented his prophecies from coming true? See where they're leading in these questions? I see it. Then the third one. This is some interesting stuff. What do you mean by encoded? So these 3 things are going right to the heart of what they're planning for the defense, assuming the hypothetical here. And so, yeah, I'm not seeing womanly influence anymore. I'm seeing a man's influence. In case you were wondering. It was just that initial one. He was trying to pull himself off as empathetic and sympathetic or whatever. So he was pretending. So then I responded. And this was 3 hours ago. Because the first time was 7 hours ago, and I responded 7 hours ago, and he replied to me the first time 7 hours ago, and then I didn't get back to him until 4 hours ago, and then 4 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 4 hours ago. So he's right on top of me in responding. I got back to him 3 hours ago, and I haven't seen anything since. He didn't get back to me. It's been 3 hours already. And here's my final comment, at least so far. That's why I use the words darker and insidious. What you are asking is covered in the 500 plus videos on this old channel, and I think it's actually higher than that, but anyway, and the 600 plus videos on my other newer channel. Watch or read the sustaining votes again. And I link him to Oakes doing the sustaining votes from the church's website. And listen for what is missing for Russell M. Nelson. I then put in the quote. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to be like unto Moses. Behold, here is wisdom, yea, to be a seer, a revelator, a prophet, a translator, and a prophet. Sorry, I did it out of order because I was looking at the camera. Having all the gifts of God which he bestows upon the head of the church. Doctrine and Covenants, section 107, 91, 92. And again, I quoted, I give unto you my servant Joseph to be a presiding elder over all my church, to be a translator, first this time, a revelator, a seer, and prophet. Doctrine and Covenants, section 124, verse 125. Notice also in section 124 that no one else in any office has these 4 titles, and only Hiram has prophet, seer, and revelator with patriarch in place of translator. Not even Brigham as the default president of the Missionary 12, and I was expecting, what do you mean default president of the 12? Because then I could bring up the 1838 leadership crisis that I am the one who titled. Because I did my research and found 1838 was a severe leadership crisis for the church. And nobody else has titled it as such, so I titled it. It's mine. Not even Brigham, as the default president of the Missionary 12, was given these titles. Notice I said Missionary 12. Yet now all 15 current prophets are prophets, seers, and revelators, but not translators. And even then, not a single one from Brigham have produced any fruit, let alone good fruit, except for maybe Welfare Square. Here's where I'm going for the final blow here with the jugular. During the Great Depression, though under our current Greater Depression, the church has closed it. So if this is a spy for the lawyers looking for dirt to take me down, they got their butts spanked. They and Oakes, during conference, cover this fact up by claiming that their position automatically grants them the keys of the kingdom to do no wrong. When, as I've said, the Book of Mormon condemns them. Remember, I said the Book of Mormon is the standard by which I use to judge them with. And I quote, He commandeth that there shall be no priestcrafts. For, behold, priestcrafts are that men may preach, and set themselves up for a light unto the world, that they may get gain and praise of the world. But they seek not the welfare of Zion. I just talked about Welfare Square. Behold, the Lord hath forbidden this thing. Wherefore the Lord God hath given a commandment, that all men should have charity, which charity is love. I forgot to edit out the C. The footnotes carry over into the thing because I have the option of not transferring the footnotes, but I do the footnotes for other projects, so I just leave them in and I try to go through later, and I shouldn't do that, I guess. I do more without footnotes. But so it's not clove. And except they should have charity, they were nothing. Wherefore, if they should have charity, they would not suffer the laborer in Zion to perish under coronavirus. I didn't put that there, but that's what I was implying. But the laborer in Zion shall labor for Zion, for if they labor for money, they shall perish. And I could easily have brought up the 100 billion scandal, couldn't I? And so 2 Nephi 26, 29 to 31. And again, don't click on the link. And then I put in the link for him to understand where the code names in the Doctrine and Covenants came from. There's a Wikipedia page, list of code names in the Doctrine and Covenants. So if you type in the Google search, list of code names in the Doctrine and Covenants, wiki, whatever, it'll bring it right up. And I haven't heard back. So, as you can see, they've got an uphill battle if they think they're going to defend their case against me. And that's only assuming that the judges will allow it to proceed to a hearing where they'll then delay it for months while the judge mulls it over in his brain. And he won't. He'll just purposely put it off for months, like he did with Kay. And then finally come down and say, I found a loophole, so yeah, case dismissed. That's what I'm expecting, but we'll have to see what happens with this latest email I sent to the judges this morning. So, yeah, this is what I'm having to deal with. And like I said, I have not heard back from him. And it's been 3 hours, plenty of time. He's Mormon, so he's got to be close to Utah, you think, right? So, 3 hours ago was, let's see, 4 o'clock. They probably close at 4 o'clock at the lawyer's thing or whatever. Alrighty, so I'm missing Rachel now, aren't I? It's 6 minutes after. So, just thought I'd update you on what's going on.